County 911, where's your emergency?
The call came in early one morning. It was around 5 a.m. It was a female on the phone. She was extremely upset, and there was another female in the background screaming.
My son has flipped out. He's cut a girl with a knife.
Where did he cut her at?
On the chest.
The first female said that the second female had been stabbed. She said she had been stabbed a couple of times. It was her son that had done it.
Where is he at?
In blood, please. Now he's running up the street.
Where's he running?
He's running towards Bob's Market, but towards the left. You okay? She's not okay.
Okay, what's he wearing?
No shirt and blue jeans.
No shirt and blue jeans?
Yes, and a hat. Oh, dear God, why would he do this?
And she's been stabbed?
Yes, I tried to get him to come downstairs because they were fighting, and he wouldn't. He just lost it and got a knife and cut.
Is she with you right now?
She's outside, and she said her arms broke.
Okay.
She gave me all the information, his name, what he was wearing, and where he went. We gave that out to law enforcement, and then we toned fire and EMS to be en route to stage.
Central Lenore City unit stabbing. A male. He's wearing blue jeans, no shirt. So I don't know if he's armed at this time or not. He's cut a female in the chest.
I was on routine patrol in the city, and we received a call. There was 3 officers working that night, myself and 2 other officers.
Dispatch had advised us a woman got stabbed by her boyfriend. They weren't sure of the details due to the frantic situation, of what was going on. They just gave us the address, and the assailant took off on foot.
Is the knife still in her?
No.
Okay.
He took off with them. He had 2 steak knives in his hand.
He's armed with 2 steak knives?
Yes. He grabbed them, and there was nothing we could do.
On the initial dispatch for the call, when there's a subject that's armed, involved in it, even if there is an injury, law enforcement's always sent first. Fire and EMS are sent at the same time. They're just sent to stage in the area at a different location until everything has been secured.
Okay, is she cut badly? Is she bleeding?
She's dripping some blood, yes.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to have her sit down.
Diane, they said for you to sit down.
Okay.
Leaning against her car. She's just leaning there.
Okay. Put a clean cloth over the stab wound.
She's got one.
Okay, and tell her not to let it up. Just hold on to it really, really tight so she doesn't bleed as bad.
Really tight.
Tell her not to take it off.
And on my way to the area, they were giving out a description of the suspect. So on my way to the scene, I drove up into the small neighborhood and drove around. I pulled up to a stop sign and looked to my left, and the suspect ran across the street about 100 yards away from me. I went that way, and he went into the woods. I jumped out of my car and ran into the woods after him.
This is your son?
Yes, this is my son. Yeah,
he's a white male, correct?
Yes. The police are here right now.
Okay, tell her to keep holding that on her arm, okay, in her chest.
All right, she is.
Okay, Jackie, we've got an ambulance en route to her too, okay?
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
When I got there, there was not a pool of blood, but there was a trail of blood from, where she'd been stabbed. She had 1 stab wound on her forearm and 1 in her chest. And they were graphic-looking wounds. I was most concerned with the victim's status medically. Is she okay? And the second one was, where the suspect went. We had to apprehend the suspect. Once the victim advised me where the suspect took off to, and the fire department and EMS services were starting to get on scene, I got in my car and took off behind my lieutenant to help find the suspect.
When I got to the top of the hill, he had run into the woods. I didn't see any weapons. He didn't have a shirt on. He had blue jeans on. About 25 yards into the woods, he had laid down behind a large fallen tree. I approached the suspect. I was the only one there at the time. I was making sure that he didn't move. While I was watching him, then Officer Lawson showed up.
The suspect was laying on the ground with no shirt on, so we knew it was, this is the suspect. We knew it was him. He was claiming he didn't do anything. He was claiming he was innocent, claiming that he got framed essentially for what had went on.
Officer Lawson handcuffed him behind his hands behind his back. When he handcuffed him, we searched him, and he just had a pair of pants on. Is all he had on, so we knew he didn't have the knives with him at that point.
I took the suspect into custody and put him in the back of my car. After the fact, the detective who was on call that night, he got more information as to what provoked the situation, first of all, and what were the events leading up to the situation.
He had been drinking. He was intoxicated, and I know that this had been going on for hours. He had been drinking for hours, and it was a long, feuded fight between the two. And the way that it actually occurred was when they were inside the house, his back, the suspect's back, was to the victim, and when they were arguing, he turned around, and to her shock, he had 2 steak knives in his hand. And that's when he lunged at her, and she threw her arms up and ended up with defensive stab wounds in her arms.
I had to have a surgery on my arm where they cut it open and fixed my tendon to my thumb. Well, to my finger here. It messed the tendons to my finger and my thumb. So they went in there and fixed the tendon to my finger, but they wasn't able to fix the one to my thumb.
I always like to find the people that commit crimes because it's, like I said, it gives closure to the victims.
I like knowing that I actually can help people. If somebody needs something, that I can do for them that day.